Hello world, we're back. Welcome back to another episode of the Forbidden Lands, The Hanging Stones with the Wanderers Guild. This is episode 32. When last we left our heroes, they are on the outskirts of a forest known as the HEXENWALD, which they journeyed far to last session in the hopes of finding some witches to help remove a curse from their friend, who is a little girl who is slowly turning into a demon monster. You know, like you do. Let's see. We journeyed across the plains of Moldana last session. We traveled through a very tightly locked down town on a river, and Dahlia helped talk her way past the guards. And
Josh just played the game by himself for a little bit.
Yeah, just chatting with myself. Oh, I'm sure they're the friendliest of witches. Welcome to the party, Elric.
I remember when we first met Lynn, I was like, oh, this is sweet. Like, Josh is giving Ralgar a little apprentice girl. And then, like, a session or two after that, it was like, nah, that's not what she is. This isn't going to end well.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's going to end great. All right, let me kick off our audio. Anything else to mention from the recap that I have forgotten in the meantime?
Ralgar, I think the last thing he said was like, "Oh, you know what? Just call me Mark. Don't call me don't call me Ralgar."
Yes, he did tell us to call him Mark, and Lynn grew wings and was completely like dominated
Head
by a
spinning
demon.
around, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, she went full crawl on the ceiling,
Yeah.
head twisting backwards, wings coming out of her back.
Snapping her shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm glad you all reminded me to call me Mark. Otherwise, you'd be like, right, Mark? And I'd be like,
Who are you talking to?
huh?
I'm going to check real quick what the time of day was, and then we'll kick it off.
It was
Looks like I gotta open my DM view here. And apologies for the 0 heads up on this session. Had a very busy week. Kept meaning to post.
Oh, that's fine. We're just testing our real fans.
Elric never
He's
misses
terrifying.
us.
Hey, Elric's here.
I'm pretty sure we could get on at like 4 a.m. and he'd just wake up out of a sound sleep because he'd know.
Yeah, I sense a disturbance in the Forbidden Lands.
And we love it.
A terrifying Crow Kong. It's brought to us by Sirenscape. Fantastic musical platform we love to use each buy.
Yeah, I have a perfect
They're
soundscape
great.
for this whole thing. This one is called the Witchwood, and I've used it a couple times for other things, but it's made for this, so. All right, right. I was checking the time of day. Let's see. It is morning. So
Morning.
I think you used a portion of the morning arriving here at the outskirts. So without further ado, you are on the edge of a dense, tangled, dark forest. You get an eerie feeling as you approach. You've been traveling across warm plains in an early summer breeze for most of the way here, despite a couple of rainstorms. And as you approach the edge of the tree line, you feel a strange chill wind and the stench of death upon your nostrils.
I would like to smell and see how the death smells.
Well, you are a necromancer with a fine sniffer, so I'll tell you this. You catch...
Mom?
That...
Is that you?
Okay, a couple of things. First of all, the howling that you hear, you do hear that, as well as the crowing of the birds. And you are picking up the scent of old, rotten flesh and that loamy smell that reminds you of freshly dug grave soil. that
this
oft
place
accompanies the
smells
burial of the dead.
fun. I think we could get into some trouble here.
As I mentioned before, this is a pretty dense forest that is probably a few kilometers deep at least, and the only thing you see over the tree line is a leaning old ruined tower with kind of a jagged top just poking up over the edge of the trees somewhere fairly deep into the woods. It's the only feature you can see from the outside.
So
You see no
should
paths
we go
in
to the tower?
or out. So it looks like it'll be difficult to get from point A to point B. It's going to be very dense and unfamiliar territory.
Is it too dense for the horses to move through, like, just in general?
Yeah, if you don't have a path for them to travel on, the horses are going to have a very hard time navigating in the woods. It's going to slow your roll, and they're going to be very hard to maneuver in a pinch.
Can we, like, hop down from them and just kind of, like, hold their reins and walk them so we're not having to tie them off outside the woods?
You could do that.
At the very least, we need to do that with the donkey so that Lynn can keep looking at Demon Tower Place.
Lynn is asleep.
Yeah, she is
Fair enough.
asleep. She's been zonked since before that little town.
I'm gonna dismount and just be like, well, this place is the place we're trying to get to, so let's just keep going, I guess.
Okay. I mean, this is your thing. I'm here for it. But it's a little... Well, it smells a little bit dead.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Let's go. Eyes up, everyone.
You venture into the forest in a location with no path, towing the horses, and are you headed in the general direction of the tower, or are you just headed straight into the heart of the forest? Because the tower is off to your left a little ways.
I vote tower.
Yeah, tower.
Yeah,
again.
it's the only, yeah.
All right. You venture into the woods. It is crawling with bugs and overgrown with vines. The stench of death gets heavier the farther you travel in, Ralgar. And the horses are restless. They don't seem to like this. They're pulling against the reins and you're having to coax them the whole way. But they will go. As you...
Do I sense anything like necromantic?
There's a
Hang on.
zombie holding a flower.
Fred.
I don't think you naturally would by default, but there is a list of general spells. I think there's like a detect magic. Hold on.
Oh, I
Sense.
won't be burning any willpower, thank you.
Okay. There is a spell called Sense Magic, which is rank 1. And yeah, that would be the correct way to do that. So, not doing that.
Let's take a look-see. I've got 4 willpower. And I've been saving that for something special. So, no, let's just keep going.
That's 4 more than me.
Same. Josh, can I look around, like, as we're traveling and see if there's anything about the surrounding, like, overgrowth and such that looks forced or unnatural? Like, it doesn't look like the vines or plants or whatever would naturally be growing
Sure.
like this.
Make a scouting roll for that. Not pushable, but if you succeed, you'll know some details. And Ralgar, nice. I'll give you information in a sec. Or no, not Ralgar. General party question. Where's the crown? I've lost track of where you all have.
It's in my
put it and who's
backpack.
carrying it.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's,
Velas
it's
has it in the backpack.
almost always in her backpack. I feel like that's probably the safe assumption. If we don't declare it, then it's in
I was
Velas's
trying to
backpack.
remember if you sent it off with Vergello or kept it with this
No.
party. So that's what I was checking. All right. Very well. 2 successes on a scouting roll. You are going to notice something a little concerning. The trees around here have lots of scratch marks at about chest height to an average human, and they are torn and shredded with scratch marks with that look like the bark was stripped off a lot of the trees, and they have been clawed down in a lot of places, and you're noticing this on about a half dozen of the trees in this immediate area. And there's also a lot of disturbed soil around, and that trail seems to lead off in the direction of the tower.
Would I know what the claw marks would be from?
Do they look
I
like
guess.
my
I guess.
claws?
Let me say this. Would, based on the size and everything, are we talking like wolf size, cat size, like big cat, bear?
I'm gonna guess based off of the howling, probably the
Sure,
wolves.
but like I would assume if it was like bear size, but we're hearing howling, like
Smaller than bear.
Vergello,
Smaller than bear, larger than house cat. It's difficult to pinpoint exactly what would make these kind of marks because you know of no natural creature that would go around tearing up trees like this.
Just gonna claw like a random tree to see if it's the same size.
I put my claw on the tree and I look
It's-
at each of you
It's pretty close.
and I just tear it down.
There's little grooves. Your fingers can kind of follow the grooves down. Something roughly the size of your hand did this.
Well, that's... I'm concerned. Please just keep an eye out for wolves. And you know what? While we're at it, since there's so much loose dirt here from dug graves, let's also just try and be mindful of things popping out of the ground. I would like to say that's not something that can happen, but after spending so much time in the hollows, it might be.
It happened before we even got there, remember?
Oh, God. Never forget the skeletons that nearly killed us.
I don't know why you'd be scared of that. That just sounds like a new toy.
Yeah, maybe for you, Sawbones. Not for me.
Oh, do I finally have a pack name? Yes, I like that name.
All right. Mark Sawbones.
Mark Sawbones, adventurer and historian.
Ralgar.
Yeah?
Stench of death. Stench of death. Definitely heavy around the claw marks and the disturbed earth. Smells recent.
I share that with the group. It smells like lots of dead near all of this stuff. So, do we just keep going?
Judging from the number of trails off into the woods, the amount of disturbed earth, and the amount of claw marks, you would venture that a substantial sized group of maybe a half dozen creatures made this mess. And it looks like most of them went in the direction of the tower and a few went straggling off in other directions.
Let's just try and push forward.
I've known a few
I don't know.
witches, and they don't have claws like mine. Maybe we should go the other way.
Perhaps
We need
they
to see
can-
the witches, and if they're in some kind of trouble and we can help them, that can only work in our favor.
perhaps
and
they can
also-
change shape as well.
Yeah.
What?
Take on animal forms.
Oh, I have got to learn how to do that.
Yeah, I remember Varel the Bloodbeak could do
What?
that. She turned into ravens.
I mean, I'm not an animal, Glenrock. I'm a person.
I'm gonna just grab his tail.
Ah!
All right.
Oh, as your yelp triggers a wolf howl.
You are hearing wolf howls. And you head off in the direction of the tower, correct?
And I'm just going, oh, witches! Witches! Are there any witches here, but not wolves? We just want to say hi.
You hike into the forest, and the trails of disturbed earth seem to split off in many different directions. They go in the general direction of the tower and then sort of split off into the forest in various different directions. They don't make it all the way to the tower. But you, on the other hand, do. And up ahead, you see a dark, ruined tower, leaning slightly, maybe about 6 stories tall. It looks like the only remaining piece of what was once a larger fortress that existed here in the forest. It's surrounded by heavy old worn stones that are overgrown with vines that you can see poking up out of the forest here and there. It looks like there was once a second tower that's now just a heap of stones, heavily overgrown, that collapsed long ago. The standing tower that is leaning, you're not sure how it remains upright because it looks like it maybe should have tipped over by now. It looks to be about 6 stories tall, and it pokes out just above the highest of the trees, and there is a heavy wooden door at the base of the tower, into the tower. The tower also has doubled, like, mirrored spiral staircases leading around the outside of the tower, way up to the 5th level, almost all the way to the top. There appear to be no other doors into the tower except at the base and one way up at the top where the spiral staircases meet. So there's an entrance at the base of the tower and an entrance way up on the 5th floor. There's one floor above that from which a faint bluish glow of light is emanating from the windows way up there at the top. There's no fences, no walls, no buildings, no farms, no huts, no nothing. Just tower surrounded by densely overgrown ruins.
Do you guys think we should knock it like the 1st level door? Because we're not. Or, I mean, if the light is at the 6th floor, is it rude to make them walk all the way to the ground level? Vergello?
Why do you guys keep looking at me and saying Vergello? I'm very who's Vergello?
An old friend, buddy. Sorry, it's habit.
Oh, you don't like him. His music was terrible.
Oh,
seriously.
dang it.
I don't think we should touch this tower. I got the
witches.
heebie-jeebies.
Knock, 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 knock.
Daddy touched the door.
There's Grunrock.
When everyone freaks out,
What? We came all the way here for the witches. Why aren't we gonna knock?
Because the door might explode if it's warded.
Honestly,
Well,
I
that's
expected.
why I'm in front.
No, I mean, better you than me.
I honestly expected to die like a week ago in a cage, so I'm just along for the fun.
Grunrock bangs on the door. There's no answer. Just silence. And Lynn is awakened by the knocking and sits up on her donkey. Where are we?
Oh, she's away. We're in HEXENWALD. We're trying to find witches to help fix you.
Her wings are twitching a bit.
I guess
I-
I'll go to the other door. I'll
I
start
shout-
making my way up.
I shout out up to the blue light. Hello! We're here with a kid and a demon, I think. Anyone there?
I would like to pick a rock up and try to throw it at the upstairs door.
If you roll poorly, you're gonna hit me as I go up the stairs.
Please roll poorly.
1 sec.
Listen, worst case scenario, I say as I've like rounded up to the second or third floor, a wolf shows up and I just jump from the 6th level with a dagger. Be crazy.
Okay. Sorry. So
Michael.
you said,
What?
so you knocked on the door. There was no answer. What did you do next?
I
started
called out,
climbing the stairs.
and I called out to the upper window saying, "We're here to see someone about a girl and a demon."
And I picked up a rock and attempted to hurl it at the upstairs door. But I don't know what to roll or if I need to roll.
It would probably be marksmanship if you need to roll.
You shout up. There's no answer. However, after about a 10 or 15 second delay, you notice that way up on the 5th floor where the spiral staircases meet, that door up there just goes.
Did
And it
anybody
is
else
now-
hear that door open?
It is now slightly ajar.
Veloz, I think that means come in. So you can do that.
I mean, when I get to the top, I'll just knock on it and slowly open it. Hello?
Should we
Way
go
up at the top of the
with
staircase?
her?
Okay. So
I'm gonna start following her up.
All right, Veloz makes her way up, joined by Grunwald. Are the other two of you going along? What are you doing with the horses? Describe your approach here.
I'm gonna stay here and guard the rest of the pack.
Should I bring the girl up there?
You know what? Let's keep Lynn with us until Veloz tells us to send her up there.
Hmm.
So,
I'm staying down
is
here.
this your first time in the spooky woods?
Ralgar and
Jeez.
Dog stay down
Yes.
below. Veloz and Grunwald, you make your way up to the top of the staircase. It's a little bit scary walking up these stairs because they're part of a crumbling old stone tower hanging on to the outside, and they are very slanted, and by the time you get up to the higher levels, there's no railings, and the stairs are very uneven. But
Make them roll. Make them roll.
there's no rolls required. But you make your way up to the top. If anything disrupted you, you would be in danger of falling for sure.
Like if a rock were to hit them?
Yeah, something like that.
It's good to know.
So you make your way up to the top of the tower, and there's the door hanging ajar. The blue light from the floor above you when you reach the door is shining down, and it's coming out a little bit from the room in front of you. So there's sort of a pale blue glow from beyond the door, but it's fairly dark. And you are not greeted in any way. You're just standing outside of this door, which is slightly ajar, with a pale blue glow from within.
I'm just gonna knock on it and slowly go inside. I'm gonna take by you opening the door. That means we can come in, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
You hear no response. You push open the door, and you are staring into an octagonal room, maybe about 10, 15 feet across, that has 8 stone thrones encircling it on the outside. And in each of the stone thrones, on each of the stone thrones sits a skeleton wearing armor with a longsword stuck in the floor next to it, staring blankly ahead. And in the center of the room, there is a ladder, and in the center of the ceiling is a hatch that is hanging open, and pale blue light is shining down into the skeleton room from above. You can see that there is a lock dangling from that hatch. The lock is open.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
We've come to speak to the witches of HEXENWALD. Are you here?
A female voice, slightly raspy, responds from above. Come.
Okay. Gronrock, maybe if I like boost you up on my shoulders, you could like reach into the next level and like put an arm down, and I could like run, jump, pull each other up.
Sure, we'll try.
I'll, using her boost, climb up and dangle an arm down to try to grab her.
Yeah, we're gonna try and I guess get up and inside to the next level.
Yep, there's a ladder leading up to it. I said that right?
No, but you did say there was 8 walls.
No, I'm pretty sure I said there was a ladder leading up to the trapdoor.
If you did, we
Maybe
both
my push
completely missed it.
Maybe my push to
8
talk cut it
walls,
off.
a skeleton, some
Screw
No, no,
your
no.
ladder.
There's a ladder leading up to
We
a
make
trapdoor.
our
in the
own
middle.
way.
It might have got cut off by my push to talk. But no, there's a ladder up. Who goes first?
Well, we take the ladder up, I guess. Who's first? Me.
Me?
I said it first.
I didn't hear you, so it doesn't count. I said it.
All right.
Sounds like it's gonna be a foot race to the ladder.
Who's it gonna
It's
be?
definitely me first.
She can go first. It's fine.
Okay.
I'll concede.
Grunrock steps aside. While she's climbing up the ladder, the skeletons are giving you the creeps. I can see them sassing each other with their push to talk off. So,
She drew a gun on me.
all right. You reach the top of the staircase. This room is slightly larger than the chamber below because it overhangs a little bit on all sides. It is filled with a pale blue light coming from a pale blue flame, burning in a brazier that is hanging up on the ceiling in the center of what appears to be an elaborate study, packed high to the conical ceiling with books, and there are fine curtains with some sort of black and purple and silver embroidered pattern on them, all over the place. And this appears to be like a well-used magical study. And on a large table in the center of the room, there is a golden orrery showing the cycling of celestial bodies. You know, it's like a like a model solar system type thing. And across the room from you is a woman who appears to be in her early 30s, with a high forehead and just a huge halo of pale blonde hair floating as though it's standing up with like electrostatic force, just in every direction, kind of shocked out in all directions. She is quite beautiful, and something about her face gives you a slightly sinister feeling. And she has a tattoo of a black diamond on her forehead, right in the center of her forehead, that is filled in purple in the middle. She is standing at her desk across the room from you and says, "Come in. Come in. I was not expecting visitors."
My apologies. We didn't mean to intrude. We're actually seeking help. I'm Veloz. This is my buddy Grunrock.
He's just popping his head up now.
You wouldn't by chance know how to do an exorcism, would you?
Perhaps. Who is haunted? And have you simply come here to petition my aid without any sort of offering?
I figured I could offer a lot of things, or you could just tell me what you wanted, and I could make it happen. I don't really know what you might be interested in. I mean, one wizard I talked to just wanted to hear stories, but some wanted my heartstone, you know? So I guess I was just gonna see what you wanted.
Yeah, and the last witch wanted a deer. Hello.
Hello,
One
little
wanted a
goblin.
pinky finger.
My name is Emmeline. Do you know anything about me?
Roll for
Me?
lore. Roll for lore.
Can I push it?
No. You've never heard of her.
Nope. Has she heard of us? Or me?
Did you tell her your name?
Yes.
Okay. One sec. What's your reputation?
Or ooh, we don't know each other. Nope, I do not, Emmeline. I apologize. I don't usually come this far south.
This one has the accent of the locals. She gestures at Grunralk.
Guilty. I'm from the Shroud.
You're very close to the Shroud now, by the way. She doesn't say that, you just know that. I could
Though
know a
I'll
thing or
say
two
I'm
about
not
exorcism.
familiar with your name. I apologize for the rudeness.
That is all right. Your grace is noted, and it may do you favors in the future. Now, who seems to be haunted?
A girl we have with us, she's outside. She's possessed by Vagrathon? I think he said his name was.
Some kind of Chermog magic.
A different expression washes over her face, and she looks a bit more serious now. We're talking about demonic possession. I see.
Yeah.
Much dirtier, more chaotic magic.
It wasn't her fault. And we just want to help her.
Well, I'm afraid that I can't work much magic right now. You see, my sister recently betrayed me. And I've lost something that I need. But if you were able to fetch it for me, perhaps I could work some spells that could be of use to the girl. You know, separating the soul from the body is a lot like separating a demon from a body. Demons might create a few more hooks in the flesh that leave damage behind, but it's the sort of magic I have some familiarity with. But I'm afraid I'm not in a state to perform any sort of proper spells right now.
Do you know where whatever it is that do you know where it went, or where we could look? I mean, I don't mean to be rude. She just doesn't have a lot of time.
The self-proclaimed ruler of this wood is Mother Mab. She stole my magic, placed it inside of a vessel, which she keeps with her, out in the forest. If you could retrieve it for me, I would do everything in my power to try to help this girl. I could make no promises that she would survive the process, but I would certainly do my best. For friends in desperation. And she smiles.
Why did Mother Map steal your magic, if I may ask?
A squabble over territory. We had a disagreement. And, to be honest, I think she was growing quite jealous of my talents. She has been the de facto ruler of this wood for so long. I think she's got it in her head that she is the greatest and wisest and most powerful of all of us. And when she saw me making strides of progress in my research, I believe she wished to take me down a peg. And that she did through treachery. She killed someone very close to me. Well, she turned my younger sister against me. Convinced her to betray secrets of my research, and to steal some personal possessions that enabled Mother Mab to take my magic and bottle it up. And then after my sister helped her, she viciously murdered her, right in the middle of the forest, and I was not even able to give her a proper burial, because her body was dragged away. So here I lie, plotting whether there's any way to fix this, searching for a solution to my magical problem in all of these ancient dusty tomes, waiting for the day that I can perhaps have some sort of justice.
Well, we're pretty good at stealing, so stealing a jar shouldn't be that difficult. What does it look like? Or is it just one of those I'll know it when I see it type thing?
Give me 1 sec.
I'll lean over to Grunrock. This is going so well. Gallo would be pleased.
There's
This
always
may-
a catch.
This may sound a bit disturbing, but I believe the vessel will be in the form of a heart. Perhaps one still beating. I don't know how it will be stored or kept, but it will be a human heart.
Righto. And she's just in the direction of more like towards the center of the woods.
She gestures off to the southwest and says, she says that to the south, there's a lake at the center of the wood, but that Mother Mab's territory lies by an old dolmen, that's what Stonehenge is made out of. It's like a rocky arch kind of thing. She says there's an old dolmen out in the woods in that general direction, and she points off to the southwest. She says that it'll take about 15 minutes to walk out to it from here, if you were to straight line it, but that it's a little difficult to spot, so you might have to look around a bit. And that you should be very careful, because the wolves of the woods all heed her command, and she rides upon a great alpha black wolf that is her steed, and that she can be quite dangerous.
Good to know. You know, we noticed a lot of wolf marks on the trees out here. Would you mind if we kind of like tie up our horses here so that we're not trying to pull them through the woods? Would you mind if we did that?
Certainly.
Cool, fantastic.
Would they be safe here?
From my sister's pack of bloodthirsty wolves, I don't suspect that she'd have the gall to come visit my tower unless she wished to visit bad news upon me and watch me suffer for it. I've not seen her for several weeks, so they are most likely fine and safe. The only real danger in this forest is Mother Mab's pack.
Cool. Well, alrighty then. Thank you, Emmeline. Hopefully we'll be back here shortly. Start walking down the steps.
Okay.
She already knows we're here, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. Emmeline is gonna watch you descend the stairs, and or descend the ladder. And when she gets up from her desk, you notice that she, never mind. I take back what I was going to say. She'll stand up from her desk and calmly walk over to the staircase and look down and watch you descend. And yes, she nods and says, Mother Mab has eyes all over the forest. She knows that you're here and she can find you if she wants. If you've not encountered her yet, it's probably because she's sizing you up.
I assume we shouldn't talk about this little arrangement.
I'll shout back up the ladder at her.
It would certainly be a terrible idea to do so.
Understood.
I'll turn and follow Velas out.
Okay. Ralgar and Dog. You've been chilling down here. You've heard a lot of disconcerting sounds while this was all going on. But your friends are coming back down, and you didn't hear cries of battle, and nobody got thrown off the staircase. So you got that going for you.
While they were up there, you said that there weren't like a lot of animal tracks and stuff out here, like they didn't make it all the way to the tower. Is there any sign of any animal activity?
You weren't seeing animal tracks. You were seeing the ground just torn up and like trails all over, like more like drag marks of many figures.
Okay.
And no, you haven't seen any more stuff torn up near the tower.
Okay.
It was clusters of trees out in the woods while you were out that way.
Okay.
So your friends come rejoin.
So we can leave our horses here. I think maybe we'll bring Sir Archibald. That way Lynn doesn't have to walk.
What?
Just kind of.
Where are we going?
We're gonna move this way just a bit out of the clearing of the tower, and gonna have a quick chit chat.
Oh, okay. Walk.
Yeah, as soon as we're like kind of out of the clearing, I'll tell them everything that Emmeline said about Mother Mab stealing her magic. She might be able to help. Explain like why we saw the wolves. Give them the whole lowdown, and they'd be like, "So here's the question. She might be able to help, and she said that she would if we got her magic back. However, I mean, we don't have to side with a witch just yet. If Mother Mab can do it, I mean, we could also just equally see it from her without having to like risk like crossing her. You know what I'm saying? So like, what do you guys think?
Either witch will ask their price. The one you spoke to sounds more desperate. The other one might ask for something we can't do or can't afford to give up.
That's true. I'm just wondering how difficult it's going to be to steal a physical beating heart.
Well, I tell you this, we're not gonna have to worry about that alpha wolf, cause I'm gonna turn on the charm.
That's a buddy. Should we try to like sneak up on Mother Nab, or should we just go and talk to her?
Oh, never sneak up on a witch unless you want to fight.
I think we have a better opportunity to walk and, if we stumble across her, lie our way out. But if we're sneaking, it's harder to lie your way out.
I can say with certainty that she knows we're here already. I asked the witch upstairs. Emmeline confirmed she's had eyes on us since we walked into the forest.
Makes
I
sense.
don't really know if we can surprise her.
I mean, we can't just ask her for Emmeline's magic back, though. She's not just gonna give it.
No. We're gonna have to take it by force or make a deal.
Taking it by force from someone who owns a pack of wolves doesn't seem like a great idea.
I mean, first let's ask her if she wants to get rid of the demon thing. You don't even have to talk about the heart yet.
That's literally what I asked just a second ago.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what we're doing. But I wouldn't sneak up on her.
All right, well then let's start walking towards the lake, I guess.
Yeah.
Walk.
So just to
walk.
be clear, the lake is south and southwest is the direction that she was telling you could search for the dolmen out in the forest. You're choosing to go to the lake.
Yeah, I feel like maybe we'll be able to like spot it, get to the lake, and know that we haven't like veered anywhere, and then get to the lake and then go west.
Okay, sounds good. All right, you head southward toward the lake. There's actually a path now, because there's a path heading south from Emmeline's tower towards the lake at the heart of the wood, and so you are traveling a proper path at this point. One sec. All right. Don't laugh at die rolls.
I laugh at die rolls because I can't cry on camera.
Everything's fine. You're all fine. There's nothing in this forest that could possibly do you harm.
Let's draw initiative.
Yeah, go ahead and draw initiative. No. You travel along the road for about 15 minutes. And you arrive at the shores of a lake. More accurately, it is a very still pond that stretches out several hundred feet. It's got lots of algae floating on it. And at the center of it, on stilts, stands a wooden hut. A small wisp of smoke, which seems to shift in color occasionally as it makes its way up and disperses, is rising from the chimney of the hut. The front door of the hut has a ladder and a little porch descending down to water level, where there is a boat tied up to it in the center of the lake.
And I don't suppose there's a boat on land here anywhere.
One sec. No, there does not appear to be a boat on land here. But it's a smallish pond, and it's very still. So if somebody wanted to get yucked up, it would not be that difficult to reach the center. And there's one other visible feature of note from the pond, which is on the east edge of the pond, so off to your left, there is what appears to be a flagstone path, sort of following several switchbacks up from the edge of the pond to a small willow grove where another hut sits. You can just make out the edge of a building and a little stone chimney popping up.
So, do you guys want to try to go to the dolmen? Do you want to go to that house that is over there? Or I feel like taking a swim to the house that's in the middle is maybe kind of presumptuous and a little bit rude. I feel like if I put my hut in the middle of a pond, I don't want visitors.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to swim right now either, so...
It just feels like a last case scenario for me personally. But what do you guys think?
Glenrock, can you swim?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it, actually.
Well, what? Dog, can you swim?
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not very good at it.
Maybe we should just go to the house on land.
Yeah, let's do
Okay, let's start there.
Certainly there's other witches in this forest.
I mean, I would hope so. We'll just start walking to the hut on the east.
Okay, so you circle the edge of the lake, which is a little tricky to shimmy along, and then it widens out and you reach the little cobblestone path. So, or flagstone path. So there's a flagstone path leading up to the base of a hill on the edge of the pond, which disappears among the branches of some willow trees. Small round windows can be seen in the hillside. You can see a roof just protruding from the ground because this hut is like partially buried, kind of like a hobbit hole, with just a roof poking up. And there's a stone chimney sticking up out of the top. The sound of chickens clucking can be heard nearby. And there is a heavy wooden door at the entrance.
I guess we'll just...
Well, before we go up there, I'm gonna like tap Velas on the shoulder and just be like, "Do you see anyone watching us or following us? This whole forest gives me the." Ugh.
I mean, I'm sure we're being watched. Emmeline said as much, but I'll just kind of like scan the surrounding trees.
You can scout roll if you like. Nothing.
Not really. But I mean, I know what you're saying. I feel eyes on me. But nothing is kind of standing out. So whatever's watching us is doing a good job of staying in the shadows.
Okay, so let's go to the house.
Yep. Knock. I imagine as I'm saying that, Grunrock is already hitting the door.
You knock on the door. It swings open, and there's a short, rotund lady with slightly silvery streaked hair. She's wearing solid black robes that go all the way to the ground. She has her hair tied back in a floral patterned handkerchief. And she says, "Oh, hello, dears. Welcome. Come. And she turns around and walks inside.
I'll follow her inside.
What brings you this far to the HEXENWALD? I've not had visitors in some time.
Actually, we were looking for...
Interest you in a crumpet?
No, thanks.
No, you could interest me in an exorcism, though. Well, I mean, not me. Not for me. But that is what I'm interested in.
Yes, we were looking for some witches who could maybe do an exorcism.
As you step inside, you have to hunker a little bit because this is a house built for a short lady. And all around, you notice little flickering candles of red and black wax. And they all have runes carved in them, all up their length. And as they are burning, the runes start to glow very near to where the candle flame is burning in each of them.
Man, we stepped right into a witch's den. Oh.
And the smoke rising off of the candles, which is getting sucked out the chimney in the ceiling, is all different colors, and it seems to change periodically. and the smoke from the candles is sort of dancing in unexpected ways as it makes its way up. Who's coming inside exactly? All four of
I'm
us?
already in.
Yeah, I went in.
Is Dog going in?
I'm staying outside with Dahlia and the girl and the donkey.
Okay.
I imagine we couldn't bring Sir Archibald inside, so
An exorcism? That's quite an ask. Did you come all this way to ask me about that?
Well,
Yep.
we came all the way.
You don't know who I am, do you?
Nope.
Oh, that's
we-
all right. I'm just so happy to have visitors, it doesn't even matter. Listen, I'm going to get you some crumpets whether you want them or not, and don't even worry about refusing hospitality. If you don't want to eat them, that's okay. But you seem a bit travel-weary and tired, like you've come a long way, so I'm just going to set them right here on the table, and she slides them over. And you can have a little snack if you decide you want to. Now,
I'm gobbling them up.
I'm gonna
I'm
reach.
going one after another.
they are tasty little pastries.
Oh my
And-
god, these are so good. I don't know who you are, but you're like my favorite person. And other than my friend, she's my favorite person. I love these.
When she sets the plate down, I'm gonna take a notable step back away from the food.
Okay.
Right,
So
inside
Ralgar's
check?
stared in. Grunrock is stepping away. Sure, go ahead.
My dark secret needs to be that I can't resist food. I mean, how many times has it gotten me into trouble?
It's
At
pretty
least
funny.
twice.
So good.
All right. You detect no sinister intent. So, she says, "Oh, it's all right, dearie. I'm just trying to be nice. Now, listen, you can call me Silence because Silence is my name. I am so interested to hear where you've come from. It's been so quiet here in this forest in my little willow grove for such a long time. I don't get as many visitors as I would really like to. There used to be strapping young lads that would come through here every so often, woodcutters and such. And when we got tired of turning them into newts, well, sometimes I would let them come have a little stay in my cottage. And they would just pass the day away, snacking away, and we would chat about all sorts of things and have little dalliances. But it's been quite a while, and now things are quiet and things are boring. And, well, I have to say that coming in here looking for an exorcism is probably the most interesting thing that's happened in, well, I can't even say how many years. I am so happy to have
I'm
you.
gonna show you something even more interesting. Do you have pepper, and a bit of honey and some butter?
I have all those things. Hold on. And she goes to her cupboard and starts fishing around. I have some fine butter. This is imported butter from the halfling villages south in the Shroud. And I have to tell you, they have some of the best butter down there in the Shroud. Those
I
halflings.
can smell it. I just grab it out of her hand. I go, okay. And I see a bowl, and I take a bowl, and I mix the pepper and the honey and the butter into it, and I put it on a crumpet, and I give it to her, and I go, try this.
You put butter on a crumpet?
I made pepper honey butter.
Okay. She will take a bite and she's like, "Oh, that's just perfect. It seems like you've really
right?
It seems like you've really got a knack for this. You should be a chef.
Thank you.
Have you considered the chef trade?"
No.
Hey
Dude,
guys,
you
I
know what
I don't mean to interrupt. Our friend looking for an exorcism doesn't have a lot of time, Silence, and I promise that I really truly don't mind sitting here and chatting. But if you can't do an exorcism, do you know someone in the area who maybe could?
Oh, well, I happen to be well connected to the broader magical community. I could send out word of your little plight by carrier pigeon, and I'd have an answer in a fortnight. And after that, we could seek out the person that we need and send you right on your way.
A fortnight?
Well, you know, wizards and sorcerers and such are usually quite busy, and the settlement...
Is no one in Hexenwald able to do this kind of magic?
Oh, well, I'm a sigilist myself, specializing in all sorts of strange magical runes. She glances briefly at her candles and then back at you, but doesn't elaborate further. And she says, "I'm not one that's so expert on things like exorcisms. I think, well..." I think my my dear friend Emmeline out in the forest knows something about death magic and separating the soul from the body, but that always gave me sort of a chilly feeling, and I don't like dabbling with it particularly.
I understand. Is the house in the middle of the lake, is that Magmar's?
Did you say Magmar?
Yeah, you did say Magmar.
That is a
It's all right.
Pokemon. Mother Map.
It's
Mother Map.
Oh,
Sorry, I
no,
was trying
no.
to not like glance at my notes. I was trying to respond to the Discord message.
I don't think you should waste your time over there. That's Zora's cabin, and she's, well, she's not the friendliest, and to be honest, I think it would be a waste of your time to dabble with her. You should just go on your merry way and let her be alone doing her research, but she's not too friendly of visitors, and I think it's quite all right to just leave her alone most of the time.
Okay,
Oh,
where
yeah,
can I
the
find Mother
worst.
Map?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we gotta find her.
Oh, well, she roams about quite a lot. She lives, she doesn't like having a house per se, so she mostly lives out in the woods. She wanders from place to place, but when she does sleep, it's usually at her dolmen, which is way off that way beyond the lake, and she points to the opposite side of the lake.
Cool. Thanks, Silence. We truly appreciate your hospitality. Unfortunately, like I said, we're in a bit of a rush with the exorcism thing.
Are you sure you don't want to stay
Thank you.
longer? I would love to make you some soup, or perhaps,
walking out.
Well, I
Oh,
mean,
there's fresh
you
eggs.
want to see a demon child with wings coming out?
We
of her back
appreciate the
destroying everything you
hospitality,
love?
Silence.
did you say
but-
demon?
We have to go. It's really a pressing matter. Ralgar, we can come back and see your friends some other time.
Yeah, I promise. I'm gonna come back because I want to have your soup. Okay, bye.
Yes, please don't bring any demons near my cottage. The last time one got loose, I lost a lot of chickens.
Best of luck with the magic
okay.
candles.
And I leave, but then I poke my head back in and I grab a few more crumpets and I leave again.
Okay.
Walk into the west.
To the west.
Traveling west around the edge of the lake. Are you going around the north edge of the lake or the south edge of the lake?
Are we on the east side of the
direction we
lake?
came from.
You're on the east side of the lake and you're headed to the west side of the lake. So do you want to go clockwise or counterclockwise?
Walk back the exact same way we came.
Oh, and I just
We're on
want to
the
note
north
that
edge.
my hands are like full of crumpets. So if you make us roll initiative, I am not carrying my weapon. It's sheathed.
I'm assuming nobody's carrying their weapon if there's an initiative roll. Otherwise, you'd be carrying it all the time.
I'm actually gonna have my club out because I am
Okay.
a little bit
Paranoid.
spooked. Yeah.
Yeah.
When the orc pulls his out, I've got to reach for my sword.
Okay. Sounds good.
I imagine like I pull mine out slowly and you're just like
Yeah, actually, he pulls the club out slow. I whip mine out and kind of stare at him side-eyed for a minute.
I panic for a second, but then I just keep eating crumpets out of my arms.
Cool.
I look down at Grunrock like this place has me spooked too.
I'm not so worried about the forest.
And I'll just look back ahead.
Yeah, it's the wolves.
All right. You make your way around the north edge of the lake. It has a path going along it. Once you get past where the path connected from Emmeline's tower, the path wraps around the edge of the lake in the other direction. So you're walking along a path out there, and the path seems to go down to the west side of the pond, and then go straight out into the woods to the west. And as you are all walking along it, you make your way to the to where the path leaves the lake on the west side, and from across the lake, all the way in the other direction, you can make out someone staring at you. aback a huge black wolf with a pack of black wolves on either side of her. 4 other wolves traveling alongside her, so there's 5 wolves total. She's riding on top of the biggest one, and she's standing on top of a little mound, watching you from Wolfback from all the way across the lake. Her eyes have like a faint white glow. She has a blank expression on her face. She has black hair slicked back with a big white streak running right through the middle of it. And she is staring at you from across the lake, from atop this mound, just looming in a sinister fashion in plain sight. You also notice that
we found our witch.
You also notice that now that you are at this point in the path, not far from the lake, a little ways out into the woods, you can see that there is a tree house way up in the trees off to the west of you. That is fairly close to where you are. Built up in the branches of a huge oak tree, you can see balconies, platforms, and rope bridges off in the distance, way up in the top of one of the trees. So you're basically centered between these things. You're being studied from afar by Lady on Wolfback, and you are a short distance from a tree house.
I want to have my hood up. I don't want her knowing I'm a wolfkin yet. If possible, for her not to know that yet.
Noted.
I see the treehouse and I go, Velas, that looks kind of like your house in the mist place. The place with the elves.
Sort of does.
Yeah, just a lot nicer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
It's fine. Let's just go.
2 things of note looking at the treehouse. 1, it's constantly being circled by a lot of birds overhead, so you hear a lot of bird sounds coming from that direction. The trees are constantly rustling as though there's just a steady breeze always whipping around the house, and you see no ladders up of any kind. It's just up there.
I mean, I'll walk to the base of the tree, and if I don't see a ladder, I'll just try and start climbing it.
Okay, so you walk towards the treehouse. What does everybody else do? Trail
I
along.
follow.
I'm standing at the base because we established at Velas's house that I'm not good climbing ladders. And if I can't climb a ladder, I'm certainly not climbing a tree.
As you all start moving away from the lake, the lady on Wolfback with her pack of black wolves go riding off into the forest to the south and break off out of sight. And you are at the base of the treehouse. 1 sec. Okay. Sorry. There's a lot of information here.
You're good, man.
Okay. Let me roll a die. Okay. As you approach the base of the treehouse, you see that on a high limb, that comes out of there's a limb going through a window and out the window on the other side of the house that it's sort of hanging on, and out on the edge of that limb, there is a woman in black robes with red hair pulled up in intricate braids. She appears to be probably in her 30s, and she is sitting on a tree limb, apparently tuning a fiddle.
Is it?
And
I can't remember what Varel de Bloodbeak looks like.
it's not Varelda Bloodbeak. She has very distinctive white hair. This lady has red braided hair.
I guess I'll like circle around to where she's sitting. Hello.
She'll glance down and she says, "Oh, hello. Are you visitors? What brings you?"
Yeah, we're just in the area. This is a pretty nice house. Kind of hard to get up into it, but I mean,
She smiled.
pretty cool.
"Oh, you wanted to come in?
I'm not.
Hold on, I'll be right down. One sec. I'll fetch my broom." And then she ducks and goes inside the hut.
No way. No, she's not gonna. You don't
Listen.
think she's gonna?
Yeah.
She comes flying out of the hut on a broomstick.
That's the most amazing thing
She
I've
circles it
ever
3 times,
seen.
and then she comes down, her braids just blowing back in the wind, and then she very deftly lands. And when she lands, there's like a gust of air that blows all the leaves up in like a little spiraling tornado all around her. And then they slowly settle down, and she's like, "Who wants up first?"
Definitely me.
Ah,
What's your name?
I'm Veloz.
Nice to meet you, Veloz. Here, whoop, hang on tight. Don't want you to fall. And it goes hard. You get thrown back and you have to hang on and clutch. And she does not hold back. She's going to spiral around the tree a few times, do kind of a corkscrew bend, and then swoop down onto the little porch landing and abruptly stop up there.
I will very calmly get off. Like, that was the most fun thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I've been alive a very long time.
She smiles and she says, "Have a step inside. I'll, oh, there's a pot of tea on, and I'll go fetch your friends."
Thank you. I will definitely step inside. And as soon as she flies down, I am like scanning the whole
Sure.
room.
This place is full of fiddles and teapots, just all over the place. She has dozens of musical instruments all over the walls, intricately carved, and she has a huge collection of teaware of every sort of description. Different floral patterns, different colors, different styles, made of metal, made of porcelain, made of all kinds of different things. And just the whole room is decorated with beautiful trinkets.
My fingers are itching to steal something, so I
I
just
bet.
put them in my pocket.
She flies back down and asks who's next.
oh, me. I want to go next. I want to fly on a broom.
Hop on, my wolfkin friend.
Oh, thanks. My name is Mark. Mark Sawbones. It's nice to meet you.
Sawbones? All right. Are you a doctor?
I know.
Before you can answer, it takes off. Your fur is just blowing back in your face, and you are just soaring through the air. Yeah, the
My
tongue
tongue
hanging.
is just slapping out.
You have a wild ride. This time she even steps it up a little bit, and you do like a full horizontal spin where you're
Yeah,
hanging
we
underneath the broom for a second, and then she stops abruptly and drops you off up there. Veloz, while your friends are getting fetched one by one, what are you up to?
I'm trying to kind of like I'm like walking around. I know you said there was lots of fiddles and lots of tea, but if she's a witch, in my thoughts, there's got to be some kind of like spell books or something. So I'm trying to kind of like thumb through her books or any loose papers that are out.
No books, no papers, many fiddles, many teacups, teapots. Smells like some sort of fruity tea all in the room. And the teaware and the fiddles all look quite valuable. It's a huge, impressive collection. Ralgar, you get dropped on the landing. She goes down to fetch your friends, and you peek in and see Veloz rooting.
Veloz, don't do that unless you can find another broom for me.
Who's up next?
I am not very good at being off the ground. I appreciate it, but I think I'm gonna stay here.
Okay, dog, you going up or are you staying down?
I'm on the ground with him.
Dahlia
No,
will come
thank
up.
you.
Dahlia wants to go up, so Lynn will stay down there with you too.
Dahlia is probably like living her best life in this moment. Every ounce of doubt she has had from all of our problems melts away and she flies on a broom.
She's screaming with delight like she's riding on a roller coaster the whole way up. And she lands up there like, did you see that? Whoa! And she steps inside and she's just looking around.
Maybe Dahlia can be like the alcoholic witch, and she can just like build her own little hut in here.
She's gonna stoop a little bit, look down, and
Make
say,
it
"Are you
hooch.
sure you don't want to come
Yeah.
up? I don't want you to miss out on tea." She yells down to Grunrock and Dog.
No, it's okay. I'll stay with my sick friend and close to the ground. Thanks.
No, thank you.
If you change your mind, and then she turns around to the rest of you and she says, "I guess goblins and orcs aren't big tea drinkers."
I mean,
I never really thought to ask.
do you have any milk?
Of course I do. What good is tea without a kiss of milk?
This is my favorite forest ever. I just had amazing crumpets. Now I get to have tea. Oh wait, who are you? Do I know you? What's
My
your
name is Astrid.
That's a pretty name, Astrid. Can I help you make the tea?
Certainly. She'll brew up some tea with you.
Sweet.
She says, she says, just be careful not to break anything. And she goes around pouring cups of tea for everybody, and she says, so what brings you?
We're actually looking for someone who can perform an exorcism.
An exorcism?
Yes.
Well,
Yep.
I'm afraid that I am more into the art of divination. I can give you a palm reading.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Wait, no, we don't have time. I'm sorry, Valas. I'm sorry, Astrid.
And unfortunately, you don't have palms, you have paws.
Oh, don't you like a challenge?
I'm just kidding, I can do it. Come on over here.
I knew you. Wait, oh no, we don't have time. Oh, Valas, can we please?
Maybe. Astrid, is there anyone in this forest who do you think can perform exorcisms?
Well, let's see. If I were to guess, I would say your best bet would be with Emmeline or Mother Mab, perhaps.
Yep. Cool. And have you by chance seen Varel the Bloodbeak?
That's a name I've not heard in some time. Is she in the area?
No clue. I've not seen her in a couple weeks. I just thought that she
We
might be
crossed
lucky.
paths many years ago. She is brave, wild, and I've heard a bit dangerous.
That summed up our interaction with her. Okay. Cool. Learning a lot. I think we saw Mother Mab not too just like before we got up here with you. Does she seem like the kind of person who would be willing to do an exorcism?
To be honest, don't talk to her very much. I find her wolves quite frightening. But I know that she is well studied in many different branches of magic, including symbolic magic with runes, blood magic, and the dark arts of necromancy. She is well versed in all sorts of magic, and she is much older than all of the rest of us.
Okay.
I think if anyone here would know the answer to your little plight, it would most likely be her, but I don't trust those big dogs she rides around with.
That's fair. Follow-up question, not directly related. Are you, do you make the broom fly, or is the broom like a magic object?
She grins a bit, and she says, I'm so sorry, but it took many, many years of practice to learn how to do just that. She says, to be honest, and she gestures out towards the forest, she says, I think my sisters are a bit jealous that I have a knack for it. They could never quite get it figured out. I don't think they'd ever say that outright, but
I mean,
I see the way they look at me. Little bit
I'm
of resentment
jealous.
there.
Perhaps when my life settles down, I could come out here and you teach me. Unfortunately, I don't have the time for it now. Maybe. One day.
I pull a crumpet out from back behind my hood and I dip it in the tea and I go, I have another question. Oh God, this is so good. This tea is fantastic. So why did Mother Mab take Emmeline's magic?
What now?
And crumbs are just falling out of my mouth. Like I think I might have misspoken.
Took her magic? What is this? What does this mean?
I think it means that. I mean, I think it means that she can't do any magic because Mother Mab took it.
How could you take another's magic?
I'm not sure, but I mean, Charmog pushed its magic into the demon-possessed child down there, so I mean, I think with magic, anything just kind of goes.
She glances down when you say demon-possessed child, and then she looks at her teapots all delicately hanging on the walls and looks
She's
very
on the ground
shaken.
for a reason. You don't know why Mother Map might have taken it. Oh.
There is there some bad blood between them, I suppose?
Thanks, babe.
I mean, we just got here, so we don't actually know.
That is
Maybe.
strange. I've heard nothing of the sort. I've never heard of someone stealing someone else's magic, and to be honest, I didn't know there was bad blood between the two of them. I really wish that everyone in this forest would just get along sometimes. Sometimes I think Silence is the only one that really has a good heart and wishes the best for all of us, but...
Yeah, and she has great crumpets, too.
She does have fantastic crumpets. I go fetch them several times a week.
Come on.
All right. She's going to munch on a crumpet while she talks to you. She's dipping it in her tea.
Well, thank you, Astrid. I really...
No fortune
Truly.
reading? I don't even have to touch your hands. I could do it with tea leaves.
Come on, Valas. Let's do it. She's amazing.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yes! Ow!
It won't take long, right?
It'll be fairly quick. If you hold very still and look into my eyes.
Not the first person to ask me to stare into their eyes. I'm just gonna lean forward and grin at her.
Oh, I think she was asking me.
Who's doing it? You're both walking up. Which of you is doing it? Is
The
it
wolf
Valas?
kid. Roll. Let's roll for it. Let's roll for it. I'll be 1, you be 2. Roll a d2.
You gonna do rock, paper, scissors? In the world.
Wait, is there such a thing as a d2?
Just roll off. Okay.
All
It's
right,
me.
James.
All right.
See,
You it,
that's
Sheldon?
fair. I'm not even mad. That's just fair.
All right. One sec.
You can do it if you really want to, Adam.
No, it's all right. I've got dunkers and tea.
You guys are making me hungry.
Good.
Oh.
All right. She is going to pour you a cup of tea, ask you to hold it between your hands. She says it's going to be a little warm, but I promise it won't burn you. I've checked the temperature very carefully. Just keep your hands on it. Don't move them away. Stare into my eyes, and I'm going to sprinkle the tea leaves in.
I do as she says.
Okay. She's got a smile on her face. She's looking down at the tea, and then she looks very serious. And she's looking down. She says, "Don't look down. Keep looking at my eyes. I see that you... oh my. The tea is getting hot. It's really hurting your hands a lot right now. It's getting difficult to bear."
I mean, I'll just keep holding it, and
her face changes to one of concern. Her level of whimsy and calm that has been going all this time is melting away, and she's going, I've never... You can now see a green light illuminating her face from underneath, like it's coming from the teacup. And it's getting so hot. It's getting so hot that it feels like it is actively burning your hands and going to hurt you.
She said it wasn't going to, so I'm not going to drop it or let go. I'm going to keep holding it.
Okay.
That's great. Just mark 2 points to your strength.
No, only 1. And she's going, she starts chanting some magical words and waving her hands over the teacup and like waving her hand like this, and hot bubbling tea is splashing out of the cup onto your hands and scalding the outsides of your hands.
You said this wasn't gonna hurt, but I'm not gonna lie to you. This
I
burns.
don't know what's happening. I've never quite seen this before. You're about to take another point of damage. Do you want to let it go or take the point of damage?
Is there any way I can assist her?
You see...
Ragnar runs up.
Just blowing on the
I'll
tea.
take another point of damage.
Okay. Your hands are thoroughly scalded, and hot liquid is just boiling out of the teacup, and it shatters in your hands, just explodes, and pieces of porcelain go flying around the room, and you hear them rattling off of all the other teapots, and you look down, and there's just green water all over the floor, and tea leaves, and pieces of that very nice teacup just shattered, and she is speechless, jaw hanging down, and looking around.
Astrid,
So
focus.
I know that wasn't good news, but seeing as my hands are now cut and burned, and you said that wouldn't happen, I would really appreciate you telling me whatever terrible news you saw.
I've never seen anything quite like this happen before. I'm very sorry. She sees the blistering burns all over your hands now, and she says, I saw a few quick visions, and then it became too turbulent to read the signs. But I saw a green eye. I saw a sword with a green stone in its hilt, and I saw an elven heartstone turn from red to green, and I heard this strange whispering in my head. I couldn't make out what it was saying, but the next thing I knew, I lost control of the reading. Do you know what any of that might mean?
Well, a sword with a green stone could be. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Viridia. She's a pretty famous elf. Could be hers. It is said that her heartstone was green. And I've always kind of wanted to find it. I don't know what a green eye could be. Or whispering. You couldn't make out any of the whispering?
It said a word that I didn't recognize. I think it said Malagarn.
I'm gonna look at Ralgar. Malagarn?
I know Malagarn.
Jesus, you know a lot about Malagarn.
Josh, what does 5 successes on a lore roll get me?
A degree.
Malagarn is the name of yeah. Malagarn is the name of sort of legend that was wielded by the warrior maiden Viridia in ancient times.
Oh, Malagarn was the name of her sword.
That's the name of the sword, Velage. And then I turn to Astrid. I go, Astrid, that was awesome. Now it's my turn.
She says that the sword was in a dark place, like it was deep underground, and she sensed a sinister presence in the shadows that she couldn't make out.
Like a dragon?
She shrugs. She says, I don't want to lose more of my teaware.
Oh, don't worry. There's no prophecy around me. I just want to know what I'm gonna have for lunch tomorrow.
She says, I count 2 cursed people in your party, it seems. Is there not a third standing in my hut? Or can I trust that perhaps you're normal?
Actually, you know what? Let's not do me. It's better not to do me. We gotta go.
Did you just say I was cursed?
Well, in a loose manner of speaking, I've never seen anyone's fortune explode a teacup.
How many fortunes have you read?
Hundreds?
Well, this has just become a bit depressing.
Oh, you should show her what you keep in your arm.
I don't think so. Do you have anything I could maybe put on my hands?
Of course, and she goes and finds some cloth to use as bandages to wrap them up, and find some cool water for you to soak them in.
Thanks. I'll just kind of stand there and do that for a minute and just be like, what the fuck? I should have let Ralgar go.
She says she says I would find you some healing, but the only one around here trained in the druidic arts is Zora, and I'm not sure if she's home right now.
She's definitely home, but we were told that she wasn't really a people person.
And her boat is next to her house, so we can't get there.
That's not true. Zora is a good friend of mine, and she's very sweet. I don't know why there's so much bickering and talking behind each other's backs in this forest. It honestly gets old.
And stealing each other's magic. That sounds like super not nice for sisters.
I would be interested to learn more about that.
Do you
And
think
yes.
we
Come with us?
No, I'm afraid I don't want to be involved in all this. Not until my sisters can get it together and learn how to get along with each other.
Do you think you would mind flying me over to Zora's so I don't have to swim across the lake?
Sure. I could do that.
Sweet.
But
you, Ashton.
I'm afraid, and she looks around her, around the mess on the floor. I would like to,
I'm hard pressed to
tidy
believe
up a
Dahlia
bit.
has not already started cleaning it.
Oh, she is cleaning it up. But she says, I think it's time that we let my house have a little break from visitors, and so I will bring you all down, and Velas, I will take you to the lake if you like.
Yes, I would greatly appreciate that.
Okay.
You don't have to stay if you don't want to, but I mean, if you fly me over there, so at least I got to her house dry, I would appreciate it.
Okay. She'll bring you back down one by one. Dahlia will finish cleaning up to the best of her ability, though she doesn't know where to put all the scraps of the teacup. And, yeah, she'll bring you all back down to the ground with a little less flourish and a little more concern this time. And Velas, she will fly you over to the middle of the lake, I suppose. Drop you
Just
off over
before
there.
she was flying everyone out, like,
Sure.
Dog finally turns to Grunrock. It's like, so the shroud, huh? Oh, looks like they're coming out.
Oh, hey, Grunrock.
Yes.
You won't believe what just happened. And I fill Grunrock and Dog in on what just happened in the House of Trees. Yeah, and then boom! And like green, it wasn't even tea anymore. It was like green, like glowy, green, hot water all over the floor, and the teacup, like everywhere, all over. And the fortune teller, she said it had never happened before, and she's done this like hundreds of times. And then she said Velas is cursed.
How is Velas?
She seems pretty. You know the way she gets after serious things happen, and she like goes quiet.
At this point, they fly by on the broom, and Velas just has a scowl on her face the whole way out, and her hands wrapped up in giant mitts.
Yeah, that looks about right.
Oh yeah, and she scalded her hands too. She's probably not gonna be able to pick anything up for a while.
Did your friend just sell her soul for a palm reading?
No.
Then why is the witch taking her away?
Oh yeah, she's gonna take her to that house that's in the middle of the lake, and apparently there's another nice witch there that has like is a druid and can fix her hands. Just gotta fix her hands. It's all gonna be fine. So
we should walk back towards the lake then.
Yeah, obviously, dog. I was gonna say that.
Okay.
Is Mab
so you're
still
all
close by? Like on her wolf
you don't
watching
see her
us?
when you go back to the lake. You don't see her around anymore. She was clearly watching you from across the lake and keeping a broad distance, and then ran off when you moved away from the lake and hasn't shown back
She's
up.
avoiding us.
One sec. All right. Velas. She's gonna drop you on the little dock / porch, because they're the same thing, attached to this hut that's on stilts in the middle of the pond. And she drops you off. Very strange smells coming from this one. There's smoke coming out of the chimney, and you're standing near the door, which is slightly cracked, and there's a little bit of smoke coming out, and it smells like all kinds of different funky herbal smells. And Astrid's going to drop you off and pat you on the back and say, I'm sorry again about the fortune reading. I don't know what to say. I think my sister will be able to help you.
It's not your fault. I've known I've been cursed for a while. So
Well, if you need anything, you're welcome to come visit. If I'm not home, just ask around or come back and visit when I'm there. And then she's gonna go to the door and push it open a tiny bit and peek inside, and then she looks around a little perplexed, and then she looks down at the lake, and she's gonna bang her broomstick a couple of times on the dock. Gong, gong, gong. She should be around shortly. Anyway, good luck. And she hops back
Thank
on
you,
her
Astrid.
broom and she flies over everybody back to her hut. And a moment later, a lady in her probably early 20s with her hair just in one black braid straight down to the middle of her back emerges from the pond covered in pond scum with her hands stained, like her fingertips stained different colors, and with just a fistful of like some sort of kelpy substance, and she pops up out of the water, splashes out, and throws her braid back and looks up at you and says, hello.
Hi, Zora.
Yes.
I'm Veloz. Astrid just dropped me off. She was doing a tea reading, and I'm just gonna hold up my mitts.
What sort of tea did she use?
You know, I didn't ask. The cup kind of got very, 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 very hot before it quite literally shattered. She said that
You
maybe
notice
could
that she
fix my
hasn't
hands.
blinked since she came up out of the water. Sorry, go ahead. You said fix your hand.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could maybe fix my hands.
I have the materials to create some salves for you, please. She nods toward the door.
Yeah, sure. Do you need a hand onto the dock? Or?
No. She
Okay,
still
cool,
hasn't
yeah.
blinked.
I'll
It's
just
aggressively
walk
awkward.
inside.
She's gonna climb up and walk inside. This hut is full of cauldrons, all brewing different colored things. Just crazy smells everywhere. Shelves all the way around the walls stocked with every sort of herbs and ingredients. It is pungent, and one sec. A bunch of the cauldrons that are currently boiling on various fires around the room have ladles just stirring themselves in them. They're just being constantly stirred by floating ladles, and they're in all different shapes and sizes, and let's see.
Ralgar would literally love this. It's like it's taking half of the work out of cooking.
The only other thing other than just the massive amount of clutter and all the cauldrons going is that there is a glass-fronted cabinet. She's going to go digging through materials across the room, and you sort of step next to this cabinet that has the glass door on the front, and inside, first of all, the cabinet is covered in runes etched into the glass and the wood, all kinds of symbols, and inside you can clearly see 4 vials of different colors with clearly legible labels on them. They say snow owl, black goat, serpent, fly on labels on them. They are all different colors. They are all different styled vials. They just have the same sorts of little tag labels hanging from them. And she is walking around and hasn't said a word since coming in. She's just shuffling things from place to place, fetching a cauldron off of a shelf, and seems to be actively throwing some ingredients together.
So, like, do you turn into these things when you drink these vials? Or, like, are these, like, extracts of those creatures?
She is still wide-eyed, and she pauses halfway through dropping something into a cauldron, makes eye contact with you from across the room, like,
Sorry, just curiosity.
she nods a little bit and then goes back to brewing. After a good 15 seconds of awkward silence, she goes, something like that.
Cool. This salve that you're making for my hands, do you think that I could also put it... I've got like kind of like a cut across like my chest. Would it work there as well? If not, I mean, that's fine. I just was wondering.
Show me.
I'll just kind of like tug at my shirt and show where I like cut into myself with the dagger.
What was the context of that? Oh, that was yesterday.
For the demon to
Oh,
lick.
you've taken a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, I've got 1 strength right now.
Good. She looks at it. She still hasn't blinked the whole time. And she goes back to the shelf and adds 1 more dash of each of the ingredients she was throwing into the pot.
I really didn't mean to be a bother. In fact, I don't know if you'd want it. In my backpack, I've got like a bag of these herbs that I got from a cave. When I found them, the person...
Can I have a look?
Yeah. So I like stick my hand in the front pocket and pull out the pot that I got from the from the little kobolds.
This is the first thing that makes her perk up a little bit. And yeah, she's going to start rooting around and just immediately naming and identifying all of the specific types of herbs that you're carrying and sorting them out on the table, picking up individual specimens. She's like, oh, not much of this around here.
Yeah, the guy who shared it with me was like burning it and like all together and breathing it in and seemed to be enjoying himself. You can gladly have this handful if you would like it.
What was the place where it was being burned again?
The lizard
that
shaman
we
guy.
killed.
Beneath
Right.
Stone Garden. He was getting baked in his
Right. Right. Oh, she's straight up fascinated with this stuff. She's going to light up a bit and start asking you all kinds of questions. She asks you what angle it was. She asks you what angle it was growing at. She asks you if there was light. She asks you how far underground it was. She asks you if there was moisture.
I'll answer all of her questions.
She is just endlessly inquisitive about it. She's going to be just muttering under her breath about the patterning on it and the density of it and the aging of it and the coloring of it and the smell of it and like poking it with things and sorting the individual specimens from like the best to worst, and just she is deep in it and just asking you a barrage of endless questions.
I promise that I'll answer anything you want to know. But that solve, I don't need to be a
Right.
It both burns and itches.
I know. Hold on. And she's gonna go over and get it, and it looks like a sloppy gray paste. It looks kind of like mud, and she's just gonna spread it on your hands. And she tells you, wait about 15 minutes, and it will take the edge off of the pain and get you a head start. It's still going to be a while before you're back up to full shape, but it'll take the edge off.
Cool. Thanks. Well, this is probably a rude question. But would you mind taking me in your boat back to the shore? I've got some friends. We were looking for someone who could perform an exorcism, but Astrid didn't think that would be right up your alley. If she's wrong, I would love to know, but we keep kind of being pointed in the direction of Emmeline and Mother Mab.
What do you know about what we're going to need to remove?
Oh, wow, this is fantastic. It's a demon, from Charmog. It has attached itself.
Nope. I will not be doing that.
Okay. Like I was saying, but Mother Mab or Emmeline, though Mother Mab seems to have taken some of Emmeline's magic. You don't have any idea why? Before I talk to Mother Mab. She got really into that pot again.
Oh, yeah. She gets very serious. She says, "Oh, Mother Mab does what she likes, and sometimes it's not for the best of those around her. I suppose there's not much to be done about it."
That also seems to be like the general.
You spoke to Emmeline?
Yes, she was a bit distraught. Said her sister had been turned against her and then violently murdered. So, not gonna lie, it's not a great first impression of Mother Mab, but I mean, I've not met her, and things float around about me, so willing to give her the benefit of the doubt.
She stares blankly at you, but blinks for the first time.
Oh my God, you have eyelids. I'm so sorry. It slipped out.
I think it's time for you to leave now.
Yep.
No charge for the South. Thank you for showing me those specimens. It was very interesting.
Would you like to keep them?
Certainly.
Well, it's yours. Would you mind taking me across in your boat? I don't want to mess up the South by swimming.
Yes, of course. She'll take you down and hop in the boat with you and start rowing you across the pond towards your friends.
Awesome. Well, Zora, I truly appreciate it. I hope to come back one day and learn to fly with Astrid, should I not be continued cursed the rest of my life. All for the best. Hope to see you again. Thank you again for the salve. I'll try and bring you more random plants from other places if I ever make it back here.
She says nothing. She's staring unblinking at you. And she drops you off at the shore where your friends are waiting. All of you see her right up in the boat. She is creepily unblinking. She looks at each of you. And then she says, be wary of Mother Mab. And then she hops back in the boat and starts to row in the other direction.
Thank you, Zora. I'm Veloz, by the way. Trying to remember my name for next time. Okay, bye.
She doesn't even look back.
Well, guys, that could have gone a lot worse. She did give me a salve for my hands, and they don't itch or burn.
You've recovered a point of strength.
You recovered a point of strength, but now your hands are sticky.
Cool, so we could go talk to Mother Mab right now. I feel like I'm not really up to snuff yet, but I'm willing to go to just chat if you guys want to.
Okay, let's do that. And I just lean my head back and I howl at the top of my lungs. And maybe that'll bring her to us. I don't know.
She was certainly watching us earlier. She might be even more interested now.
But then I put my hood back up again. And a crumpet falls out of it into my hand. Ah, yes. Well, that didn't work. Okay, which way do we go?
Continue.
Guessing the direction we saw her go.
Let's do it.
You set off into the woods. You start walking. And you are... Whoever wants to pathfind here can make a can make a survival roll to try to find this dolmen, because this part of the forest is thick and dense, and you're not sure exactly where it is, just a rough general direction. So who wants to be the lead navigator, see if they can find it?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Remember we had all those great lead the way rolls last time?
Remember when Josh wasn't rolling a d6 like every 5 minutes?
Nope.
He's yet to roll a 6, which
I think he's rolled a 6 once.
You are on your way out into the forest, headed northwest from the lake, and as you are traveling, with barely any warning, there's a rustling from the bushes nearby, and out burst 3 shambling human corpses, mostly fleshy, chunks rotting off of them, with tatters of ancient clothing, and they have fingers scraped to the bone so that there's no flesh at the tips of any of their fingers, and the bones on their fingers are pretty worn down to little nubs, and they start slowly crawling towards you, dragging themselves on their fingertips, and they are tilting their heads. Drooling, twisting, contorting, interested in you, crawling towards you, not actively attacking.
I'm just.
But they are closing the distance,
start
almost in a
going
stalkerly way.
Start like hard left and kind of.
They are turning in the direction that you are turning, and following you.
Stop it!
They're just shambling towards you. They're closing
Stop
the
it.
distance. Lynn is looking pretty stressed out. She's pulling her legs up on the back of the donkey. Her wings are twitching, and you're noticing the smell of brimstone on the breeze blowing through the forest around you.
I guess you guys just want to run.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Cool, we start running.
They are going to start running after you. You start running, and they do that
zombie
predator
shuffle.
instinct thing. Yeah, where they're gonna start running after you and keeping pace. And the faster you go, the faster they go. And suddenly, out of nowhere, just giant black wolves start flashing through the trees and smashing into the corpses that are running after you. And one by one, huge black wolves just grab them in their jaws, pick them up, shake them, and throw them aside till they have like arm bones and chunks of legs in their mouths, start tearing them to shreds. And in the center of the crowd, perfectly calm, or in the center of the pack, on the biggest of the wolves, is that lady that you saw.
Mother
Mother
Mab.
Mab.
Well,
Magbar.
I
Thank
took
you.
my head down and I go, so I take it those weren't your zombies?
She looks down at you and goes,
we
I look at
truly
her and I go,
appreciate it.
Well, they weren't mine either. So where did they come from?
she gestures like this in the direction of Emmeline's tower.
Are you Mother Map by chance?
She nods, maintaining intense eye contact with you.
I was hoping. We've traveled quite a ways. I was wondering, could you perform an exorcism?
She's going, when you ask that, she looks at the girl. She sighs deeply but says nothing.
Everyone else we've met has pretty firmly said yes or no. Is your lack of response a yes? Maybe.
She holds out a gnarled finger and she gestures towards Lynn. And Lynn just shakes her head no, but the donkey starts walking without prompting.
I'll walk with Sir Archibald.
And I'm going to follow on the other side.
Okay.
I'm going to guard Dahlia.
I'm gonna walk with the donkey as well. I'm watching the wolves.
She is studying Lynn as she approaches. And just looking quietly down at her. And Lynn is nervous and shuffling to the back of her donkey. And Mother Mab is looking at her wings, sizing her up and down.
If it helps, it's Charmog magic, and we even know the name of the demon.
That catches her attention.
His name is Vagrathon.
She nods, and she looks the girl up and down, and she is going to hold out her gnarled hand, and she will pull out a tiny pointed knife and poke herself right in the middle of the palm, and a tiny drop of black blood starts just floating above her palm. And she's going to gesture towards the girl and go, whew, and the little bead of blood is going to go towards the girl. And when it floats very close to her, it starts to morph and sizzle and pop, and then it just goes up in a puff of black smoke that smells like brimstone. And then the old witch is going to go and smell the smoke. She shakes her head in a somber way and then pulls her wolf and starts slowly leading you out into the forest. And Grunralk, one of the huge black wolves, approaches you and starts sniffing you. It's all up in your face.
I break. I drop onto my back and start screaming at the top of my lungs, waving my scimitar wildly.
Several of the wolves start to growl and snarl and encircle Grunralk, who has set them off by upsetting them.
I
want
to jump on top of Grunrock as soon as he like starts waving away, like, and just like not on all fours, but like crouch down, just start snarling back at every wolf, like guttural, like just
make an animal handling check to try to communicate whatever it is you're communicating to these wolves, and it's going to be it'll be at a -1, because it's a difficult one because they're already worked up and getting ready to
that's a
engage
whole
physically.
2. Can I push it?
You can push it if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
That's an unsuccess because that's a negative die, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a fail. Yeah, the wolves are snarling and angry because he made such a ruckus, and they are going to start snapping and biting at the exposed bits of his ankles and hands while you're holding him down. And one of them is going to try to take a serious bite at his foot. And
I want to try to bash that wolf in the head with the pommel of my axe before the bite lands.
Can I cast a spell?
Mother Mab is turned around on her big wolf, which is much more restrained than the rest of the pack, and she is just sitting and watching and not intervening. What was your question, Bill?
Can I cast a spell?
Okay, multiple things happening here.
Yeah.
This sounds like an initiative draw because you want to cast a spell. Ralgar wants to pounce on something before it can bite. Grunrock is rolling around, and it sounded like Amy was about to say something too.
Yes.
I'm just going to an initiative draw here. I'm not drawing for Mab because she's on the outskirts of this event and not.
You don't need to draw
she's just
for me
watching.
either.
Okay. Amy.
Just because I know I'm gonna be.
Hank.
So.
6. Bill. 5. Wolves. 2. They're gonna take a bite at Grunrock before anybody else can react. Grunrock, you get bit for 2 damage by one of the big black wolves on the ankle. It doesn't go for the kill, but it takes a big warning bite with its huge jaws and like pulls a little bit and then flings you a little bit, which also shifts the guy who's on top of you, spins the two of you around in a circle, and you see blood just splatter across the ground, and then it goes back to just like circling and growling and baring its teeth with blood dripping down. Next up would be Amy, if there was something you wanted to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna take out some of my rations and just like kind of wave it in front of the wolf and like throw it to the side and move to stand between Grunrock and the wolves.
Is that strength or agility damage?
Strength.
Okay.
Okay. You throw some rations down, make an animal handling roll, because they are perked up and in aggression mode, so you're going to have to get them to care about food for a minute. You throw the rations and the wolves ignore them and continue circling in and snarling at the goblin that startled them.
Can I push it?
You can. Empathy break.
Skull.
Yeah. So, Velas suffers an empathy break, which means she exits the scene in some way of your choosing. You either lose your temper, or you feel overwhelmed, or you feel like you don't care and can't get involved in this because it's too ridiculous to be worth the amount of trouble. Whatever happens, you have some dark feels and you're going to exit the situation. You can describe what form that takes.
Phenomenal. I'm going to take out the rations and I start just kind of waving them and they don't really look. And I'm going to shove them forcefully into my backpack, look down at my goblin, who is freaking the fuck out, even though we are finally here doing the thing we need to do. I'm going to look at Lynn, who's got like wings twitching on her back and doesn't want to be here. Look at Mother Mab and be like, that's fucking ridiculous, and just start like cussing and swearing and walking off.
She just storms off into the forest alone over it, and Velas exits the scene until further notice. She'll turn back up later.
I'm gonna go get some crumpets.
I'm going to Astrid's house. Fuck all y'all.
Bill, what would you like to do?
So
The wolves are still circling, snarling, and snapping, trying to get at Grunrock.
I want to cast animal speech. It says I can ask a number of questions equal to the power level of the spell.
Okay.
But can I just talk? Like, can I convey a message? I'm not really trying to get an answer out of them as much as
Sure. Go ahead and cast it, and
I've never cast a spell before.
the crown just left the scene, so you don't even have to worry about that.
That's also good. Thanks for the empathy break, Amy. Yeah, I will. It's a first level spell, so I will use just one thing to cast, and then
Yeah. So it's going to be 1 die, 1
roll-
willpower point, and allows you to speak with a mammal. You can ask a number of questions equal to the power level of the spell. You can cast it at a higher power level if you want to roll more dice, but then there's more risk. The animal can tell you what it has seen, heard, or smelled, but they do not perceive the world as humanoids do, so their answers are often hard to interpret. Their main advantage is that they never lie. Yeah, you can use it to just communicate something if you want. You can use it to try to.
I want to convey to them that he wasn't trying to attack. He was freaking out because he's terrified of wolves.
That's fine. This can be a manipulation roll instead of an animal handling roll.
Josh, that's not better. That's the same number.
Well, cast it and try talking to them and see what happens.
My other option is I can cast Beastmaster, but
Then you'd have to take your shirt off.
all right.
You can
yeah, I'll
control
just
an
do that.
animal to make it break off and attack. That sounds fitting.
Yeah, but it says if the power level must be 1 step higher if the animal is agitated, scared, or in combat.
So
And
that'll
I
be a
can't-
power level 3.
3, and I can't cast it because I only have 2 willpower.
I see.
And I don't know if there's a way to like cast, like there's safe casting. I don't know if there's dangerous casting, you know?
You could try casting it on the alpha who's not agitated.
Oh, he is an alpha. Jeez. That sounds dangerous. I cannot control an animal with strength higher than twice the power level. Does this guy look like he has a strength higher than 4?
Yepers.
Like,
He does.
Yeah, I would assume that. Okay. Do I have a claw or tooth on me? I honestly don't have much. I have scraps of leather and animal bone as my apparel.
Yeah. You can have a tooth or a claw, for sure.
Okay. So if I have...
That'll give you +1 to that power level.
Isn't that what the ingredients do? The ingredients increase the power level, right?
They increase the power level. So that would actually let you target the alpha if you wanted. It would not save you that willpower that you need to cast the
Yeah. I'll do that then. I'm not trying to command the alpha to do anything like it wouldn't do. I'm just trying to get it to
You
calm
can bend
down
an
the other
animal to
wolves.
your will. It can break off an attack, track down an enemy, run to where you want it, deliver a message, even attack someone if you want. It's a straight up mind control, so
Yeah, but it doesn't say that if you force an animal to act in a way that is outside its normal behavior, I would imagine
doing
an alpha
tricks, it
attacking
says.
its own pack or whatever would be
that would probably be.
yeah. But
Although,
I'm just
I
gonna get
mean-
it to break
I mean,
off,
getting
like-
the alpha to like call the pack or getting the alpha to intervene with the pack.
that's pretty normal.
Or like step in and like tell them knock it off or do a power play
Yeah,
kind of thing.
that's what I
don't know.
want to do.
Yeah, those are all normal wolf behaviors.
Okay.
So
Okay, that's what I want to make sure. Okay, then I'm gonna spend 2 willpower points and just tear like a
Okay.
claw that I have that's on like my necklace, and cast this spell.
all right.
So I need to roll.
Yep, you roll 2 dice.
And I
Or you
don't
roll
for the
3
ingredient?
dice because it's you roll 3 dice, sorry, because it's power
Okay.
level 3. If you get any amount of 6s, it casts at a higher power level. If you get any amount of 1s, then there's going to be a roll on the miscast table.
It says 3 willpower because I didn't know how to add an ingredient, but
It casts at power level 4, and you do not suffer a miscast. You look at the alpha wolf, you chant some words, its eyes lock with yours, and you are in its mind. You can make it do anything you want.
call off your pack, Alpha.
Woo! It howls. They all perk up and look at it. They break off the circle, form into a pack, and leave Grunrock alone. And they start walking away into the forest with Mother Mab on the back of it looking at you. She is not visibly agitated. She looks a little bit impressed and a little bit like she is reevaluating everything she assumed about this grungy looking orc.
Well, all I had to do was have an almost empathy break to cast that.
She shrugs her shoulders as the wolves walk off in the direction that you were previously going, and Grunrock is able to stand up again.
I'll try and help him up off the ground.
I'll take his hand and shakily get to my feet.
Thank.
I'll just nod and kind of linger for a moment, staring after her.
I just wanted to protect Lynn. I'm sorry. We should go. Velas would be mad if we miss this chance. I'll just stay back. Maybe it'll be far enough.
Sounds good.
She'll lead you into the forest, and after walking for a good 10 minutes, you are going to see a clearing up ahead where there are 3 big stone pillars that go about 15 feet up off of the ground, huge Stonehenge type stone pillars in a triangle, and on top of that triangle of stone pillars is a huge disc, like a stone tabletop almost over all of the pillars, and there's a little stone staircase leading up to it that spirals up around the outside, like a stone staircase up to the top of that structure. And underneath, it seems there's a little shelter built. There's what appears to be little twig shelters built up in these big mounds, and the ground is all torn up here. And there's 1 or 2 more there's 2 more wolves when you arrive that were resting here that perk up and look in your direction. This seems to be where the wolves hang out, under this big stone table. And Mother Mab is going to get back here, step off of her wolf, walk up to one of the stone pillars, and she pulls off an old, long, heavy, tattered rope. And she'll make eye contact with, with our Beastmaster. And she's gonna hold up the rope and then point over your shoulder at Lynn behind you, and then make a gesture like tie up.
I'll nod and grab
She
the rope.
nods towards the stone staircase, and then she starts to ascend slowly up it, walking at old lady pace the whole way up the spiral staircase, and disappears up on top of the table. And as she's disappearing around the corner, she beckons with one gnarled old finger and then disappears up to the top of the stone table. The pillars are covered in runes, as is the surface of the tabletop.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take Lynn up there.
Lynn is not going to submit to being tied up. If you come at her with a rope, she's going to be like, "Oh, no, you don't."
Child, this is to make sure the demon doesn't get away as we try and remove it.
whatever that lady is planning to do, I want nothing to do with it.
Hey, Ralgar.
I'll say as quietly as I can to him.
Yeah.
Pick me up and carry me towards Lynn.
Oh, okay. I do that.
I'm sure she's just trying to remove. I'm just like, constantly like talking back and forth with her.
As soon as he gets close, I'm just gonna like wham in the back of the head.
On Lynn?
Just trying to knock her.
No,
No,
try
on
to
me.
knock her unconscious.
Okay. Go ahead and make a melee roll. See what you can do.
Is punching a child an extraordinary event?
She knows that you're trying to
I think
grab
killing
her,
him
so
might be
she's gonna
defeating a
be
monster.
able to try to dodge this as you get close, because she's eyeing you suspiciously as you come up. So she's gonna get a couple of dodge dice here.
I don't like doing this, but she's not gonna go willingly.
She fails to dodge. How much damage do you do with that?
Oh shit.
2, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, she's dead now. Job done.
Actually, she's only got 2 strength, so this is gonna do a critical injury. Let me see what that
I
is.
mean, he was going for the knockout with a fist, so I imagine like she shouldn't. I'm just saying she shouldn't lose an arm.
I don't know.
From
I don't know.
a roll
Yeah.
on the critical injury.
It's a
I know.
glaring intent.
Well, it's a separate table.
Okay, cool. I didn't know. I was like, it kind of sucks. It's like, oh yeah, you disembowel her as soon as you punch her in the face.
She now
I
only
mean-
speaks Dwarvish.
Regardless, being knocked out by force is like super bad for you.
I mean, I don't think.
Okay, so here's what's gonna happen.
She is.
You will knock her out. However, something on her personal belongings was sharp, and her head gets knocked forward, and she gets her eye gouged. And now she is like hanging off the side of the mule, and blood is dripping down the side of her face, and she has a horrible eye injury, and she's slumping a little bit to the side. But then her other eye opens, turns red, and the wings spread and start to flap and lift her up.
I mean,
And
I was
I
going to
dive.
the tie as soon as she fell. Like,
Say
I
what?
got the rope. I was going
Yeah.
to tie her. Like, as soon
Yeah.
as she gets knocked, like, I'm just trying to start tying her up.
Okay. You are now trying to... It's a melee to grapple somebody, so one of you two can try to hold her while the other person does the rope tying. Meanwhile-
Melee
go for
build.
the hold.
Mine's a 5.
Mine's a 5.
All you then.
Whichever of you wants to try to
well,
restrain, you can go ahead and make a
is it-
grapple roll.
Of the three of us,
Yeah. Question: is one person grappling and one person tying?
Yes. And then the
Okay.
third person who's doing nothing can assist the grappler and give a +1 die.
Okay. Okay, so the grappler has to do the melee. Then Grunrock would
Yeah.
probably like knock her and then grab her, and I got the rope already.
Yeah, but you're fighting
Take a
against the
plus-
strength of the
take a
wings and
+1
the attempts
from
to get away.
me, Grunrock. Ralgar's like, you can do it.
grappling's not considered an unarmed attack, is it?
I thought we decided it was last time.
I don't remember. Let me check.
Escape grapple with big old wings.
Man, y'all thought Veloz was pissed when she stormed off? Wait till she comes back and this kid's missing an eye.
The witch did it.
The wolf did it.
Roll
Sir
for
Archibald did
melee.
it.
Roll for melee if the attack succeeds. So yeah, it
Okay.
counts as an attack.
Okay.
That was a really weird roll.
It's a lot of successes. All right.
Yeah, it is.
You managed to restrain.
Tie her up.
You tie her up with a rope. At this point, the pillars are bleeding. The smell of brimstone is blowing on the wind, and the demon that is in Lynn is bucking and pulling against the restraints. And at this point, the wolves are getting whipped up. The there's all kinds of strange omens whipping around, and you are trying to drag this girl up. She is restrained, but there's all sorts of strange magical mayhem starting to spiral around you as this thing is awake and tied up. And Mother Mab walks out to the edge of the stone table looking down as you are struggling and dragging this girl to the edge of the pillar. And she reaches into her pocket and she pulls out what appears to be a bunch of little sticks or something. And then you realize that she's holding a little bundle of animal bones in her hand. And she's just going to calmly look down at the girl. And Mother Mab's eyes turn black. And she pulls one of the bones out and then snaps it with her hand, and Lynn's leg goes sideways. And then she pulls out another one and snaps it, and Lynn's arm goes sideways, and then Lynn goes limp. And all of the magic stuff stops.
We run. We run up to the top now. All of us, like, supporting.
Okay.
Carrying.
As I crest the top, trying to
She
help
disappears
drag
back over the edge.
her. Yeah, as we crest the top, I'm trying to help drag her.
Okay.
What did you do to her? We don't want to kill her. I didn't even want to knock her unconscious.
She probably is gonna survive all of that.
You still haven't even told us what you want for this.
When she just beckons you out and gestures towards the middle of the runic circle on this big stone table.
I bring the girl over.
I don't know what else to do. Take her over and lay her down, I guess.
She is going to point at she's going to point at Dog, and Mother Mab is going to start tracing symbols in the air with her fingers, which turn into strange red symbols and things. And she points at you and then does this gesture.
You want me to speak?
She points at Lynn and says,
You want her to speak?
I think you need to say her name, dog.
Lynn?
Oh,
she shakes her head. No.
the demon's name.
She shakes
What
her
was
head
the
yes.
demon's- What was the
Martin
demon's
Rathon?
name again?
Agathon, I believe.
Vagrathon? Yeah, I'll say it. Vagrathon.
You say the name, and then Mother Mab cuts her hand real bad. Lots of blood, really gruesome to watch. And the blood starts floating into the middle of the table, hovering over Lynn, lying in a heap. And the blood starts to slowly twist and form in midair into a symbol that one of you has seen before. A symbol that looks like some sort of serpent made of blood, like a winged serpent made of blood, and in a coiled form. And Lynn starts to hover off of the ground in her broken form, buckles over backwards, her mouth opens up, and just a serpentine column of blood starts coming out of her mouth and spiraling up into the air like a huge snake made out of blood that is just pouring out of her mouth. And it is slowly forming in the air. And we will end the session.
But is she alive?
How should I know?
Oh, well. This whole area is freaking me out, I'm not gonna lie.
I love it.
Let's do experience
It
points.
shouldn't need to be said, but I feel like a terrible human being for it. Do not punch children.
What could go wrong? All right.
Arguably, he punched a demon.
She was Lynn when I hit her. That's
Did you
what I'm gonna
participate in the
remember.
game session? If so, get an experience point. No new hex. I'm gonna give you the XP for new adventure site, even though technically HEXENWALD is an adventure site, and I gave you one for it last time because you discovered like 5 different places in here that you were interacting and investigating. I think we'll give you the adventure site XP for sure. Defeat 1 or more monsters. Not
We knocked Lynn out.
quite. Treasure worth a gold or more. Function on your stronghold. Activate your pride. Dark secret. Hank.
Do I get mine? I'm always gonna poke mine whenever it comes close.
1 sec.
Gun rock.
Gun rock.
Oh boy.
I see. I had to remind myself. There might have been opportunities for that to come up, but I don't think it hindered you this time. Right?
Okay.
Saying we can see your screen.
I was
Oh, okay. Don't look. The audience can look. You all don't look. Did you risk your life for another PC? I think Bill definitely gets that. You threw yourself on top of Grunrock when the wolves were attacking him.
not Grunrock. Him and I are besties.
So you definitely get that one. And extraordinary action.
Pepper honey butter.
Punching a kid in the back of the head.
I don't think
for
anything
making
stands
the
out for that
teacup
category
explode.
this time. So I think that's it for XP.
Yes.
So as far as I know, we are on again 2 weeks from today on April 29th.
Yeah.
And wait, maybe
April 29th is my wife's birthday.
I see. We might be able to shift it a day in one direction or the other. We can figure it out. If it's not on April 29th on our usual Monday night, then I will announce it on the YouTube and the Discord. So we'll keep our normal schedule, but if it's going to change, I will post and we'll pick a different day. So yeah. Ars Magica coming soon. And Adam/Ralgar has decided to join us as a grog for that one.
Yeah.
So he's going to come play with the Ars Magica
Expendables.
group when we kick it off sometime in the next 2 weeks, I think. I'm just finalizing a couple character things, and then we're going to get a night pick